Hello everybody, this is Mr. Skinny, and I'm casting today a random internet match between Griffonstone, our NBN Corp, and Orangedevil, our Chaos Theory Shaper, the new identity for Shaper. And they actually kicked off right away. So Griffonstone, as the NBN, played out one ice and just grabbed himself a couple of credits. Meanwhile, Shaper has played out his magnum opus, great moneymaker card, and then immediately Maker's Eyed into R&D. So always the most frustrating thing for a Corp. Doesn't have enough ice to... I assume he didn't have enough ice. We'll have a look. Yeah, he doesn't. Well, he had one more ice, but didn't want to play it. So didn't have enough ice to protect his R&D. So 3 cards immediately to the Shaper, and he did score 2 points, the AstroScript pilot program. So there we go. Turn 1 for the runner and 2 points. That's the way this game goes. So NBN for his first turn installs a piece of ice. Which I guess I can peek at these. They don't mind. So he just put his Viper out. Okay, so got an HB ice. A lot of tracing. Not a big surprise for NBN to have a Tracy ice. And then he just grabbed a couple more credits and handed it over. Meanwhile, the runner is just grabbing himself a whole bunch of credits off Magnum Opus and throwing it back. So, lots of movement. Mandatory draw, he picked up a pop-up window. Great fun ice. I mean, there's just no downside to this ice whatsoever. It costs nothing to res. You gain a credit every time the runner hits it, and he can't do anything about it. And then the runner just has to pay a credit to get through it. So he'll always do it. But, you know, you've essentially netted 2 credits on the runner, and it just doesn't cost anything to have it out. So it's just that extra frustration. Arguably, I suppose you could have maybe more impactful cards that block entry into a server if you're going to have the minimum size deck, but still fun. So he goes ahead and he's playing another piece of ice. I believe that was his Data Raven. Yes. And then we have the he's throwing out his he actually had a couple of ambushes essentially. So he puts his aggressive secretary out. This is the one that can be advanced, so it tends to be a little trickier in terms of, you know, the problem is that once you start advancing it, you've got to keep advancing it, or it's revealed, because you never advance an agenda like twice and then just leave it from turn to turn. I suppose arguably sometimes NBN can be really true with breaking news, because it's a small difficulty, so it's only like something like 2 difficulty, but because it tags the runner immediately and then they lose the tags, breaking news can be a great one to, you know, you put some credits on it, make it look like it's an ambush, advances on it rather, and then you know, the next turn you can immediately score it and then use the actual clicks you've got left to do damage with the tags. But we see now that Orangedevil is running blind into the server. He hits Data Raven, and you know, not too big a deal. He just has to end the run, because otherwise you would have had to take a tag. And then he uses his inside job to sneak right through, and successfully ran right into the aggressive secretary. So looks like though it didn't get advanced. So yeah, he found the secretary right before. Shame Griffin didn't put the snare out, but the problem with that is that the snare, of course, tends to be better to hold into your hand, because, you know, it's a very tricky card for NBN to have. Being a Jinteki card, you just have no idea that NBN might be splashing it into his deck. But that is typically why pretty much anytime you make a run anywhere, you don't want to go in without either... I mean, usually it's net damage that you can get off of blind runs, rather than things like meat damage. So you can always put up some net shielding and avoid some of that damage. Otherwise, you just need to go in with a high hand count. So Griffonstone went ahead and just installed a piece of ice on top of his main remote there, and handed it back to the runner after taking a couple of credits. The runner has grabbed a few cards and then just used Magnum Opus twice, and discarded his Gordian Blade. Very interesting. Well, he has 2 Gordian Blades, so not so interesting. Back to NBN. We see he picks up an agenda, and he's actually already holding another agenda. 3 and 2-point agendas with the 1 snare in there. He has a Red Herrings, which is one of my favorite cards, actually. I just love... well, I love upgrades in general, because I love that you put them in there, and it forces the runner to have to make a move on you. Because... or at least start dealing with it, because, you know, if it's an agenda, obviously you can't just let it go. If it's a... you know, otherwise it could be an upgrade. So it looks like he's going to go ahead and expose this card, and so he sees it is a legitimate agenda, and he knows that the corp, unless he can drain the corp of cash or make a successful run at the server, the corp can score this next turn. So it's going to be interesting. What he does, he uses his second click to grab some credits, so he's now sitting on 10 credits and 2 more clicks, and he uses inside job, so he gets to skip the first card. Nice time to get the second inside job, if he did just pick that up recently. So he's got 1 click left. He's still in his run, so he's waiting, of course, to see if Griffin wants to go ahead and res this ice. You know, I'm not sure. Well, yeah, so he needs to res the ice to make Data Raven take effect. So he's probably trying to figure out if, you know, does he want Data Raven to take effect? Because you have to spend 3 to essentially do nothing. So I think he does, actually. Yeah, so that means inside job must apply to TMI. Well, although, yeah, unfortunately he has to sort of run this thing, but it doesn't. Oh, yeah, he shouldn't have done that, because the inside job skips that. And I'm actually not sure why they're continuing this trace. This trace is done. I assume he's going to take his 4 back. Players will hopefully sort this out. But, so assuming that, yeah, this doesn't happen, I'm very confused, actually. Didn't TMI get bypassed? Once Griffin resed it. Oh, I suppose first res effect. First IRS res effect happens. So I assume what you're saying is that yeah, that's a bit strange to me. I guess we'll see. So he does the Data Raven. I am very confused. I'm so confused. Why did Data Raven not take effect? Oh, I see. He got to bypass Data Raven because TMI res failed. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. I guess it's because when you res, something has to happen, and if it doesn't do it, you're not on the encounter phase until the ice is resed, right? Some of the intricacies of this game, not as intuitive as you would want them to be, but you know, it all works when you follow the flowchart. So, yeah, so TMI, to try to explain it to the other people who might be confused over here, TMI, when it's resed, an immediate trace happens, and if it's unsuccessful, you have to de-res it. And this is all happening in the phase of approaching the ice, not the encounter phase. Inside job only bypasses during the encounter phase. So essentially, yes, TMI did not get to take effect, and then Data Raven got bypassed. So, interestingly enough, what did Griffin do with his turn? I believe that he did with his turn, he had to get money back because he'd spent all his money, that's right, so he couldn't advance the agenda. But meanwhile, Orange Devil could not advance his agenda. I guess knowing what he knew was coming out, he just couldn't take it on. So that basically gives... really, Griffin would be crazy not to go for the advance of the security force here. I would have thought. He has the money now. He didn't have the money last term. Orange Devil took a bunch, basically took money off of Magnum Opus and drew some cards with his Diesel, but didn't take on the server. Griffonstone at this point has absolutely no idea what he just drew. He could have drawn another inside job. He could have drawn tools he needed to get through this server. So I'm guessing that's what he's considering right now, is that he, does he go ahead and just spend the money or advance right now? I mean, he's not in too bad a shape as well, obviously that leaves him with only 2 credits. It means it's going to be very hard to res anything else. So next turn, the runner will probably go after his HQ or his R&D, knowing that he probably can't res anything to protect it. But I think that's a risk you've got to take, and especially since his HQ is only a 1 in 5 chance the runner will find the agenda. He might also find a snare, which is pretty awesome for him. So we'll see. So the runner, watches him score, and even better, of course, is this is a great thing to have when you with NBN, because now if the runner gets tagged, he can just kind of do damage to him by burning clicks, which is always good. So he went ahead. The runner went ahead, took some cards, played his short gamble, and then went after R&D. So he's going to get a free look at 1 card off R&D. Oh, and amazingly enough, he manages to get another 2-point agenda, which is and Griffonstone reacts with a wow. It's the luck of this game. I mean, I've certainly played where I've seen 10 free cards in a game and not seen a single agenda out of it. And there's nothing better you can do as a runner than to see a free card. So. Always frustrating when they get it. I believe that's his second free card if you consider inside job the access to a free card. I guess you pay 2 credits for inside job, but either way, he's sort of gone 2 for 2 in terms of seeing a card and scoring. So Griffonstone might be reeling a bit. Hopefully he's thinking about what to do next. He mandatory draws into another Data Raven. So he's throwing out another piece of ice on R&D after feeling exposed on R&D, and it's just his pop-up, so it won't stop anything, but it will earn him some cash and deplete the runners. Then he just takes a few more credits. Orange Devil, meanwhile, draws a bunch more cards. I guess he's got 1 icebreaker. I don't know what he's specifically searching for. I notice he hasn't put his doppelganger out yet, which a cute inclusion. It's a new hardware from a study in static. Lets you do 2 runs for essentially 1 click. But he goes ahead and installs himself his Gordian Blade. And I think NBN tends to be barrier. No, there's a couple of code gates. Barrier. So, they've got the standard mix. So, we're back to Griffonstone. The runner he installed his Gordian Blade, that's right, okay. So, Griffonstone goes ahead and puts out his private contracts asset. So it's a very similar asset to the Armitage code busting job that the runners get, where you can just keep taking money off of it until it's run out. Kind of like a limited Magnum Opus. So, runner starts his turn, draws into a Femme Fatale. He already has one, so not that exciting. It's a very powerful card and just also mighty expensive, so I'm never quite sure when to play them, what to do with them. Has a modded, so brilliant to get when you want to play a Femme Fatale. So it's a very criminal-heavy deck for this shaper. He has his 2 Femme Fatales, he has a Doppelganger, and I believe that's about it so far. So we've seen 6 influence from him. So, looks like he went ahead and installed himself Femme Fatale and put it on the Data Raven. It's a good card to do it to, because, the Data Raven gives you a tag that you can't avoid any other way, so that's good. So then he makes a run on the server. So this is interesting. He's gonna, he's got to go after it. Thought it was an agenda, probably. It'll be interesting to see if he spends all 5 of his credits to deny the Corp his money. So, Corp tries to res, and uses his base NBN ability to get to 4. And orangedevil eludes, spends a full 4, has no link, which is very unusual for any shaper. So it doesn't re-res, and then Data Raven's been skipped, and now he finds himself private contracts, which he actually has no money whatsoever to trash anymore. So it will survive at least one more turn. And of course, the longer the Corp has it out and takes money off of it, the less valuable it is to even go ahead and trash. So we shall see if he just uses the opportunity to. I forget actually. I think it's 3. Yeah. So yeah, he has the credits. He could res it and then take back 6. So he'd net 3 this turn alone, and then yeah, he's gonna do that. Of course, he was probably trying to figure out if he wants to, because he's going to have to discard at the end of this turn if he uses all of his clicks. And he does discard. What did he discard? One of the ice. Looks like another Data Raven, I think. So the runner, meanwhile, just, I believe, magnum opus his way through the whole turn. So 8 credits to the runner. Boom. It's it's similar to the Melange Mining Core by the Corp. I don't want to say it's uneven, but I've just often had this problem with the fact that the runner sits around. He has this amazing card that you can just keep taking money off of, and it's very hard for the Corp to really do anything about that program. Whereas the Corp has to really protect his assets to get his money. So it's just definitely seems easier for the runner to keep the Corp poor. That's for sure, which is an odd thematic thing, but what are you going to do? Balance for the game. So looks like the runner. It's very hard to keep out. The text scroll is very hard in this game to deal with. So it looks like the Corp just took more money off of private contracts, and then the runner. What did he do? He drew a bunch of cards, 3 cards, and then installed Helpful AI. Okay, and then the Corp just went into his mandatory draw, finds himself his Toll Booth, one of my favourite ice. Always costs the runner 3 credits, if they can afford it. If they can't, they end the run, so you win either way there. And then it's a 5 strength ice with an end the run on it. So yeah, just a great card overall. Obviously expensive to get out, but well worth it once it's up. It's also actually a code gate. It mimics a popular code gate breaker, I believe, or is it a sentry breaker? No, I can't remember. Either way, 5 strength's tough. You usually got to boost an icebreaker quite a bit. So he goes in and installs a card. I believe that was, yes, it's another red herring. So just making it, see, this is what I'm saying about upgrades. I love it. It's like, you don't know what it is, and you've got to, well, actually, so in this case you do, because he's got an asset out, so you know it's just an upgrade. I would actually, well, he had to reduce his hand size, so it makes sense. But I love to put it out there when you don't know that it's not an agenda. So runner took his turn very quickly. Looks like he drew a couple of cards, did a short gamble, and then puts his doppelganger out. Okay, so he's got his doppelganger going finally. Runner mandatory draws into a marked account. So this is a constant income of 1, but you have to spend a click every 3 credits, essentially, to keep it active. So it's a click for 3 credits in a delayed over time way. It's got a great trash cost on it though, so unless you're running against someone like a wizard or something, you don't feel too worried that it's going to get like trashed, especially since it's only a credit each turn. I mean, it's similar to Pad Campaign. Pad has a trash cost of 4 and it's giving you income every turn. It really depends. Running against a runner with Magnum Opus, though, I tend to find they don't mind spending the money and denying the corp money because they always feel like, hey, I can just keep throwing it out. So he went ahead and installed it and then rezzed it, so it will earn him money next turn if it's left alone. So the runner, what is he's picked up? Oh, he's got his personal workshop. I'm sure he's been waiting for that. Yeah, there you go. And he's putting his battering ram on the workshop, so that's a barrier breaker. It's good against heavy ice servers because it keeps its strength. What else is he sitting on? He's got that notoriety for a while. 2 notorieties now. Don't know if that's happening this game. I mean, maybe, It's a funny one because you have to spend basically all your clicks. You have to click on the archive, click on the R&D, click on the HQ, and then boom, hit the notoriety. It should be expensive. It should require a full turn to score yourself 1 agenda point. It's very tough to do unless the central servers. It's probably an easier card against things like Jinteki, who tend to have their central servers less protected and a lot of remotes out there. So we're going back to. And the All-Nighter, that's another new card. It's had out for a while. I'm not sure. I'd actually be really interested to see it in action. I guess I can see the All-Nighter comboing well with Notoriety in that you'll get extra clicks to do what you need to do to get all 3 servers, I guess. But yeah, it's essentially because it's free, you're burning a click earlier to gain that click back later. Well, actually, that's technically not true. You're actually burning. Yeah, you're burning 2 clicks because it costs a click to get the card out there. So some say you have to think of a card itself as it's a click to draw it. So you click to drew, you click to play it, and then you're going to click to actually use the paid ability. So you've actually spent 3 clicks in a sense just to gain 2 back. So you've net lost 1, but again, it's all about chaining a very long turn to do something. More important, I always found like these click gainers like Biotic Labor for the Corp, obviously, because he needs to rush the agenda out and score it. Because the longer it sits out there, the bigger liability it is. But I'm very curious to see a smarter runner than me figure out what to do with the ability to chain extra clicks into your turn. He's quite rich, 13 credits. 7 credits for the runner. So we are on the Corp's turn. But yeah, the runner's quite rich right now, so I mean, it's a lot you can do. I mean, you can put the battering ram out instantly and then go after some servers. I mean, maybe he will go after the notoriety hit. He sort of has the money, he has the breakers he needs. So, meanwhile, the Corp, I don't know if the Corp is worried about that happening, so he's icing up his 2 centrals. So it looks like the runner's going to hang for a while. Amazingly, the amount of drawing he does, I mean, he's been trashing a lot. I don't know what he's specifically looking for. He just did 4 draws, so what he's looking for, I don't know. He dumps his test run. Dumps the other test run, dumps the other personal workshop, and we'll definitely be keeping that Maker's Eye. I can't imagine he'll dump that, and then dump the other Femme Fatale. So, a lot of duplicates. Kept his notoriety, so he's definitely planning to try to get some kind of combo with that. You can tell with with the All-Nighters, I think, is his plan. The problem is, for me, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, in the end, you still only score a point. And, it might be good at the end of the game when, you're sitting on 5 or 6 AP. I mean, he is on 4 AP, I suppose, but I guess we'll see. So, Corbo puts out another asset, so he's, done a, he's now got a 4 ice server. And just put out an asset, so he's going to scare the runner. The runner just keeps drawing. He's only got 6 cards left in his deck soon, so yeah. Oh, and then diesels. Okay. Not something I would have just thought about doing, throwing away so much, but I mean, he threw away so he drew, on his final click as well, he dieseled, knowing he'd have to discard a lot. He went for his 3 notorieties. That's gonna be fascinating. If he can actually break through, I guess I see what he's doing. I mean, like, he's not going to draw any more cards. His plan is probably to, and he just let the Corp go ahead, and he didn't know if the Corp was going to score his agenda, but he just decided, screw it, I'm gonna let him go. And what's good about this is now he knows it's going to be sitting out there. So, I mean, the Corp definitely has a suspicion. I mean, he knows that, what else is he going to do with his ice? He's got to protect his centrals. He knows that's probably what the runner's gearing up for. And the runner has no idea what he's about to hit, so I don't know how he thinks he's going to pull off notoriety, but yeah, so I figured he'd do that. So he just moneyed up, took 8 more credits, so the runner's up to 15 credits, so he's got the cards he wants, I think. I'm guessing he's going to try to do a Makers. He'll do a Makers on, on the R&D. Then maybe he'll do it. He'll go for the whole run the archives and the HQ, and in that same turn do 2 notorieties maybe. So like if the R&D if the Maker's Eye doesn't score him what he needs, I don't know. I mean, yeah, this is actually, I'm very excited to see how this plays out. The Corp's only sitting on 2 points, so if I was the runner at this point, I'd be very concerned that there was agendas in the Corp's hand. I mean, and as you can see, there are 2 agendas there. So runner just draws 3 more cards. So the runner has emptied his deck and dumps his infiltration, dumps his diesel, and dumps the all-nighter. Surprised for that. I thought he'd want to keep as many clicks available as possible. No, he wants his inside job. Okay, that's what he wanted. He's gone through his entire deck. It's everything or bust on this one. That's for sure. Because everything or bust, basically. Okay, so I assume this is the agenda coming out for the Corp. Oh no, he puts the snare out. Wow, very interesting. Okay, I mean, I guess he assumes the runner's going after the remote. I mean, I just don't think the runner's gonna, though. I mean, why is he holding on to 3 notorieties? And of course he was waiting for the battering ram to go up for free. So he's got 17 credits. I mean, it's really about, and he's going to take more credits. He thinks, I mean, look, it's a good point, right? He's got all 3 code breakers up, or icebreakers. So, I mean, the theory is simply that, assuming the runner won't win this turn, he's only got 2 rich points. So even if he put out an agenda, he'll only score maximum 3 points, maybe 4, I suppose. So he lets the Corp just kind of do that. And now the Corp, of course, hates it because he thought the runner was going to go big on the remote and he didn't. And now he's just sitting with a useless snare in a well-protected server. So yeah, Corp is really confused what to do, and there he is sitting on 3. I mean, this is horrible, right? Like, you've got a relatively weakly iced HQ. You're sitting on 3 agendas. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, I guess he's got to put yet more ice out. He just can't. I mean, I think if I was the Corp, I'd put out my low point agenda. Just figure, well, the runner's going to burn a lot of credits getting through. So he'll get the 2 points, but then at least, he's not just going to hit HQ really cheaply and have a really high chance of scoring. Yeah, the Corp is very, very confused. I mean, and he also he knows the runner's got to be, the Corp has time on his side, that's for sure. I mean, I guess technically the runner never has to ditch cards, so he can just sit there magnum opusing all day. The Corp is always on the official time limit. The Corp's got 23 cards left, when the runner, has got 5 cards left. If the runner takes any net damage or wants to make any kind of play of any note, That's interesting. So the runner's asking him, are you just not getting agendas? I think he's trying to trick him. I don't know. I mean, you know, because I think he wants to pull this notoriety, like, surprise on him, and we'll see. So, I mean, here we go. Really excited to see what happens. He's got 23 credits to 20 of the corp. So, here we go. Maker's Eye. So he asks, do you want to res? And yep, so he reses the toll booth. So that'll be 3 credits done for the runner. So, runner plays 3. And then he'll have to use his code gate to break it. So it's going to be another 4 creds there. Okay. So runner's down to 16. Okay, so, alright. Archives is obviously going to be free to run. And then he's got his inside job to beat the HQ. I mean, he could do it. I mean, I think he can. And there's a pop-up. Nice cheap card to get through. Doesn't really care about that. So Corp gets 1. Runner loses 1. Just do it manually, folks. Griffin, are you paying 1? I think he'll pay 1. I think he will. And then on we go to the next one. So trace-wise, it's interesting. I think he'll have to, he'll code gate break it. So the runner is not going to know what hit him here. Notoriety costs 1 as well, so he needs 3 at the end. Yeah, the corp's not going to know what hit him. I mean, fantastic strategy. Just really fascinating. This is why it makes me feel like I'll never be that good at this game. I can't think of those sort of ideas, combos, to just drain your deck and get to the 3 notorieties that you want. I'd just be nervous about losing all my cards. What just happened there? I have no idea. Oh, so he didn't res, and he went into R&D and he found a snare. That is the worst thing. That is truly the worst thing that could have happened to the runner. I didn't even think of that happening. He couldn't have even expected it to happen. Didn't think, obviously they might hold snares. Where did snare go? I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Oh, yeah, Orange is so sad. I think he just trashed it out of, utter contempt. I mean, because obviously Griffin was gonna, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. I mean, I really thought he had it. He had the money. He was going to just easily pay another few credits there. Then he would have run HQ, probably would have inside jobbed the first ice. And then easily got through this barrier. It's a 3 strength barrier, yeah. I mean, he would have just popped through that, run archives, and then I don't know if he'd have gotten all the points he needed or not. Yeah, now he's running HQ, so he's just hoping he doesn't hit any net damage. I mean, can he still do it? Well, the problem is he's only got 1 notoriety and then no cards. So, he could, as long as he takes no net damage, he can just keep taking credits and running things, and hope never to lose the assets he's got out the rig. Oh, he lost his inside job as well. Oh, that's amazing. So it has to. So wait, yeah, I don't know why. Got a very impatient griffonstone. So so he tries to do the trace. So the runner now is going to break it with Kogate. Well, it's a sentry, right? So yeah, it's expensive to break. Stupid femme fatale as well. So expensive to increase her strength, but at least it wasn't that high strength a sentry. So spends. He's down to 13. Not too bad. Asks whether he wants to res TMI, so we can go into our endless TMI loop here. Yeah, I mean, he is raging behind there, like Orange, saying at least you can hit me with another snare. So doesn't res TMI, I guess he doesn't want to bother spending. I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't just spend all 4 of his credits on it. And if he does get hit by another snare, it'd be so funny. Oh, but he gets the... So he does win. Oh, he gets it. He wins. That's what he needed. So yeah, I guess it wasn't. You know, he just didn't know what he was going to hit. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I guess that's it. Good fun. He did win anyway. And yeah. Thanks for listening, and I will catch you guys later.